quiet. Something cool is gonna happen.
Probably shouldn't be out here because it's still pretty, what's the word? Stinky from the clear coat. But today I painted the hood again because I just wasn't happy with it. And then I cleared it again. And as you can see, it's a little orange peely, but there's no runs anywhere. So that's the problem. Runs. Nobody likes the runs. I don't like the runs. Yesterday, I believe, was it yesterday? Yeah. I repainted and re-cleared both the bumpers, a section of this fender, and a section of the quarter. So tomorrow I'll be able to sand the fenders, the quarter, the fenders, and both bumpers. And they have at least 3 coats of clear on them, maybe 4, I think. This one has 4 coats of clear on it. And so I'll wait till, what are we, Thursday? So I'll wait till Saturday, 2 days. I like to wait 48 hours. I like to wait 48 hours so it has time to cure, so I don't sand through. Because that's the biggest pain, is sanding through. This fender is sanded down to 1,000 except for there. The doors and most of that quarter are sanded down to 1,000. Then I'll go 1,500, 2,000, then buff it, which I've already done once, which you could see in a previous video. But when I got done, it still had way too much orange peel, and I think it's because I tried to use the DA to do the original 1,000, and I thought, well, it's pretty good. And by the time I got to 2,000 and buffed it and everything, it looked like crap. There was so much orange peel, I just couldn't even keep it. So I ended up painting the entire car again, well, this side of the car and the hood. The whole reason I ever painted the hood is because it had these this corrosion that was happening on the lip here, because it's an aluminum hood, and these are famous for getting corrosion on the edges. So I'm like, well, I'm here, I've got paint, I might as well do it. And it's been a pain in the butt. But now it'll be beautiful. I'll take it very easy on any of the edges, because that's where I always tend to burn through, and then we'll be done. I can put this back together, and then we can go for a spin, and I will take you with me, and it'll be awesome. So we're probably, if everything goes the way I think, this thing will be done within a couple of days. It is backbreaking work, but it will be so worth it, and then some lucky person out there will benefit from all of my hard work. And don't forget to subscribe. And also, somebody buy this 58 Plymouth. What do you, if you haven't bought this, if this is still here, then I'm gonna put a Hellcat in this. I wanted to do it. I can't have every car I always wanted, but if I sell this one, Christine stays. If I sell Christine, then this stays. I like them both, but just whatever sells first. I'll take the other one down. The Christine I've wanted to have for, more than 10 years, and this is just a car, even though it's a Hellcat. I can always find another one of these. I'll never find another Christine. And one just sold it, I think it's Meekum, for like 174. It wasn't from the movie, it was just a clone. 174 grand. I'm selling that one for basically 30 grand. You put another 20 into it, so basically you're into it 50. You sell it for 174, you've just made 120 grand. It's kind of dumb of me to even try to sell that one. This one is gonna go for 444.44, maybe 49. $44,449. Why? Because it's got a rebuilt title, not because it was wrecked necessarily, because it was stolen. It was a theft recovery. Since this was a theft recovery, it will have a rebuilt title, but there's nothing wrong with it. It is flawless, especially now that I've repainted it. And I only repainted it because it had some scratches, like just some minor dents. I've spent so much time in this car, I almost don't want to give it up because it is so beautiful now, and it will be as soon as I'm done polishing it. It'll be really difficult to give away. I may also, I got some black vinyl, put some black vinyl on the deck lid, the roof, and maybe the hood. Problem is, the hood will be so beautiful, I won't want to black it out now. I only got it because I didn't know if I could get the hood beautiful. But this has only been curing for less than an hour, maybe a half an hour. Yeah, I see it's got orange peel and a couple of dog hairs. But since there's no runs, it'll be easy to sand out, and I'll just be done quickly. And easy for my shoulders, I guess, not, but compared to what I've been doing, a lot easier. Because the orange peel and the deep orange peel and the runs, trying to straighten those out. Every time you try to straighten out a run, it just burns through almost every single time. So we won't have to deal with that on this. And it looks beautiful. I'll clean up this mess, and then we'll bring the General up. I'm gonna do some paint correction on the General where I've scratched it. I hit the toolbox with a door and took a chunk out of the paint. I'm gonna be fixing that next. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you all. Have a great day. Bye-bye. So, here's where we are on the Hellcat. I repainted the whole side, the hood, and the bumper covers again. And I think this is probably for the third time, because I would get sanding down the clear coat to get rid of the orange peel. So what happened is I would keep trying to sand down the orange peel, and I would burn through, and then I would spot, and it wouldn't look, I would spot paint it and it wouldn't look right. So this time I painted 4 coats of clear, and it's now down to 1,000. No orange peel, at least none since I looked last night. Oh, there's a little bit right there. So I can continue that just a bit. And there. It's good to look later. Like after you, because when you get into it, you think it's done, and then you look back and you're like, well, what about that? Same thing with this. There's some right there. And I spent hours on this thing, and it's still got some right there. It seems to me like I did burn through on this. Look, there's something right there. So I'm gonna have to go over this one too. Right there. I think I burned through right here somewhere. Yeah, not enough to repaint though. That's fine. I can't go through this anymore. I've had this car a month longer than I wanted. Almost. We're in the 3rd month. It's the first part of March. I wanted it gone the end of January. Okay. My son had an idea about selling the Hellcat. You tell me what you think down in the comments. What if I contact the guy who used to own it, the guy that it was stolen from? As I found his name. If you see the video I just did, I had to cut off the wheel locks because I couldn't find the key. Well, I just found the key yesterday in the trunk in a garbage bag, and along with that I found the guy's name who used to own it. So what I'm thinking is it got stolen from him, and then by the time the insurance company was done with it, they were like, you know, probably bought him a new one, or no, who knows what, or by the time they found it, I don't even know. But it was stolen. Now it's repaired. Another 100 or 200 hours more, it'll be done. Seriously, all I got to do is do 1,500, 2,000, and then the 3 buffs, and it will look brand new. I'll put the bumpers back on, give it a bath, clean out the inside. It'll be good to go. That sounds easy, but I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist because I'm looking at this, and this is sanded down to 1,000, but I'll bet you I'll find some spots I need to work on, like I just did on the hood and on the front bumper. So that's what I'm going to do now, is go ahead and check these and make sure there's no spots that I can't live with, and then move on to 1,500 wet, then 2,000 wet, then we'll bring out the buffer, and maybe even in this video it'll be done, because it needs to be done. I'm tired. If you want, I'm starting on 1,500 on the hood. It's funny what goes through my head while I'm sanding, thinking about my former students and how proud I am of some of them that are just really kicking butt. They probably don't even remember me, but it makes me feel good to know that I had some influence on that. Anyway, sanding along. See the scratches here, whatever that is. No matter what I do, It's never going to be perfect, but I'm going to make it the good as I can make it, which will be really good. This 1500 is barely sandpaper. The only reason it's gripping like that is because of the water. You can feel the kind of a drag on it. Pretty cool. If you think how many times I painted this hood, I'm an expert. It takes 10,000 hours. I'm getting real close. The only reason I painted this hood is because it had corrosion on the edges. Factory defect. Since it was stolen, it was out of warranty, even though miles-wise it would have been fine. And even though it's going to look really good, I'm still tempted to black it out with that vinyl. Like, kind of sad how tempted I am. How much work I put into this. I don't know if I will or not. Guess we'll see how it looks in a minute here. So I gotta sand the whole thing down to 1500, then 2000, then buff 3 different separate times. It'll look beautiful. If it doesn't fall down the hole like that, whatever that was. Man, I really know the curves of this hood too. Kind of like the General when I was done. I touched every part of that car multiple times. Front to back, bottom to top, top to bottom, upside down, inside out, pickle road. This one I've just done the outside really. Not even the engine. Doesn't need to. It's only got 28,000 miles on it. Brand new. I will change the oil. And I don't know what else. For sure get it detailed. Maybe I'll actually look up some tips on how to detail cars. Because I mean, anybody can clean a car, but there's some tricks on how to detail. And how to de-smellify. Because it's still pretty smelly. I actually think it's a pretty good idea to call the former owner. It's kind of weird, but that's kind of what I am, right? Being a geek, he doesn't want it, that's fine. But I think if I had a cool car like this and it was stolen, and then I had an opportunity to get it back, that'd be cool. So I think I will, as soon as it's done. It's making me really, really happy to be this close. Got tons of hours more, but now that I've made it past that 1000 step, hopefully, without burning through, feels like this has a purpose, because with the 1000 grit, if I burn through, a lot of times I'd have to start over. I can't tell you how just frustrating that is after hundreds of hours of standing in this damn car. I could have bought a new hood. I could have bought new doors and fenders for this side and been done. And I don't know if I would have known, you know, people always say if I would have known. I don't know if I would have known would I have done that. I had the doors on order and I was like, oh, that's a little too expensive for me. But as many hours as I put into it now, maybe. Might have been made better money. I'm just burning. Well, I bought paint 3 times and more clear, and that's not cheap. But I become a better painter and I learned how to clear a lot better. Still can't do it without having that orange peel. Still, it looks a lot better than it used to. This paper's getting all wet and falling off. Dodge. Who would have thought I would like Dodge Mopar? But this car is badassery. With the capital B, badass. All right, everything's to 1500 now. And I'm gonna take a break because I tell you what, it's a lot of work. Whew. Next will be 2000. Then we'll get back to buffing. All right, boy, even closer. The car is now down to 2000. You can see it's got that cloudiness to it, but as soon as I start buffing it, it'll come back to life. The bumpers are down to 1500, and they take about an hour each if I do them right. So a couple more hours, and the bumpers will be ready to buff. The car is now ready to buff. I'm happy. There's a couple of spots that I'm not going to point out that are not perfect, but they're really good. There's going to be no orange peel. It's going to look... I'm worried. Here's what I'm worried about. It's going to look better than the regular side. And then, you know, I don't know. Hopefully it'll be fine. Or if it's not, I'm going to have to buff that side down to, I don't know, start at 1000, 1500, 2000, and then buff that side. But I don't even know, since it's obviously different clear from the factory. And I don't know, I'm not painting anymore. I'm out of paint, I'm done. I suppose I could clear it again. I have more clear left. But you don't see any dots. Like, see if I can find some dots. There's a couple left somewhere. Like right here. See those dots? There's none of those on this car. Not one. Not that I can see. This bumper has been really damn difficult. But when you put water on it, let me show you. What about water? But when you put some water on it, which is what it will look like with clear, it's gone. Okay. You can't see it. It's all dirty too, but you can't see it with the if they were clear, which would be very close to factory. Mine, I wanted it so perfect that you wouldn't even have those little dots. But you got to be careful because you burn through, and then it's worse than that. Like here's some on the bottom. Now I don't care what the bottom looks like. When I got it off the car, it was completely trashed and scratched up with deep gouges in it. That is fine. Once it's buffed, it will look brand new. All right? All right. I have a funny story to tell you. I was going through the trunk, I've already told you this, and I found the lock to the lug nuts, which sucks or is funny, you decide. It sucks. I wasted 60 bucks and I scratched the wheels a little bit, but they needed to be redone anyway. But in there, I found the guy's name that owned the car. Okay, so I called him. And he's like, how'd you get my number? I'm like, I found your name in the car. And I recorded the conversation, which I can't play online. I don't want to give anything away who he was, but he said, oh yeah, got sideswiped. Apparently, his it wasn't like a theft like out of a parking lot. It was his son's friend who stole the car and then wrecked it, and then the insurance company kept it. Here's the kicker. He said, "Would you sell it back to me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I would." So here's the weird part. I might be driving this back to where I got it, which is in California. I can tell you where. And selling it back to the guy who used to own it. And it will be better than when he had it, because the hood had that, what do you call it? The hood had the bubbling on it. The bumpers were scratched up. Of course, the dents, and then the doors on the passenger side and the fender have all been changed. So, and after I clean up the interior and change the oil and detail it, it's gonna be a beautiful car. And he said he's looking for one. So, wouldn't that be weird? I'm not saying I would, but that would be cool, like an end to this story. I did say before, whoever gets this, if they're within 1,000 miles, I'll drive it to you. It'd be cool. As soon as the money's cleared. Can you imagine I'd show up and they steal it from me? I did kind of open myself up for that. Who knows? Maybe I called the guy who stole it. He just told me a lie. But he seemed cool. But you never know. The world is full of criminals. Back to this. So I'm gonna... Next step will be to sand these down to 2,000. But I'm tired. Day's over. I need a break. So tomorrow, I'll be sanding those down to 2,000. And then we'll get on buffing this. And it will be done in a couple of days. And that is just wonderful. It's too snowy to take it for a spin right now anyway. But soon. Soon. Hello. So if you weren't watching, if you're just new here, I'm about to buff the car. But wait, I thought you already did that. Yeah. But it didn't turn out right. There was way too much orange peel. I probably could have gotten away with just re-clearing everything, but I burned through in a bunch of places, so I repainted the whole side, the whole hood, and both the bumper covers. And now they've been sanded down to 1,000, 1,500, actually these even to 1,200, then 1,500, then 2,000, and now I'm about to buff them 3 different times. So at the end of this 3 buffing session, this should look all shiny. We hope. So let's see what happens.